Okay, I guess we'll get started. We're happy you're all here, and my name is Leonard Laxer from All Mobile Video. We would not have been here tonight if this was not for LiveU, who helped coordinate this event and sponsored it for us, so big hand of appreciation. So tonight we're going to focus on how the partnership between LiveU and All Mobile has worked within all the All Mobile companies. All Mobile is made up of several companies. Chelsea TV Studios, which you're sitting in now, one of our 6 studios. These studios are all connected together via fiber and via LiveU, and we'll demonstrate how that works tonight. All Mobile Video, mobile productions. Outside you'll see there's a truck called Teleport on Wheels. Within that truck, there is both KU band, C band, and there's LiveU transmit and receive. And if you go outside there, we'll demonstrate that to you as well. The feeds from in here are coming into that truck. This truck is a Teleport on Wheels, truly, so you can bring master control on site. It is the most powerful mobile transmission facility in the U.S., both in terms of transmission capabilities and power redundancy. And then finally, AMV transmission, consisting of AMV Gateway Teleport in New Jersey, Westar in Dallas, and AMV Digital Media in Marina del Rey. So how does LiveU fit in with all of these AMV operations? First, AMV is a dealer for LiveU. So any of you looking to buy product tonight can either see myself or Brian, and LiveU will give you a demo of everything out here. There's a product all on this table. There you can see Sebastian, and you'll be able to see George, who will be talking about it. We have everything from the Solo to the LU200 to the LU4000 server. So whether you're looking to do HD or 4K, all these products are out here tonight. Secondly, and most importantly, AMV knows how to integrate LiveU gear into your production and transmission needs. Some examples of this, we've provided an LU600 with Databridge to give production a 100 meg hotspot on site without the need for your cable provider. For instance, one of our clients over here has a parade coming up and doesn't want to have to deal with Verizon, pay the fee of having a circuit in for a year. So we've been able to come to LiveU with a product called Databridge, and we can provide 100 meg on site. We've also now been able to do the same thing for radio. We had an instance where CBS Radio wanted to go live from Coney Island and didn't have time to get an ISDN and a Zephyr installed. And for the first time ever, we tried some magic this week with LiveU, and CBS loved it. Audio quality was great, and they want to continuously do it. We've now begun to use LiveU in studios like this to transmit media tours. We have a lot of companies that are tied to us via fiber. They have 1.5 gig circuits with us, but can't afford a second circuit as well. So they don't want to pay the recurring monthly cost. So what they do is they will put a LiveU in. We connect directly to our Gateway Teleport, our Westar Teleport, or LA. All 3 have LiveU servers. And then from there, we can then cross-connect that to our uplink. So they get rid of the monthly fees that they're paying for that second circuit. So it's a one-time only cost. And for something like a media tour, it works perfectly well. The latency is low enough. The quality is great. And everybody's been very happy with those. They also work in the field to do remote media tours where they're getting into places like the Javits Center, and they don't want to bring in a KU truck because it's so expensive for us to run cables across the floor. They can bring the LiveU right to the set, plug it in, and they don't have to deal with the unions. Not making the unions very happy, but I don't think we're here to do that. So, AMV has used the LiveU where we rented up to 8 of them around the world, and basically we've done LiveU Remys, we call it. So we've taken 8 Remys for Airbnb and brought them all back into a switcher in our master control, and then switched an entire show live using LiveU. AMV has sold these units to production studios who want to be live but can't afford the cost of monthly recurring fiber. that want to just do things like streaming. So perfect for streaming services. You can stream directly from the LiveU. Your client at home can watch the media tour without having to come in. You save them the cost of airfare and hotels. And finally, the LiveU with HEVC cards makes a great backup to a satellite truck. If somebody's looking for a third path or even a second path, we've done things like for title, we've done concerts where KU is primary and LiveU is backup. The LiveU goes back to the teleport, and the teleport puts up another satellite path. And that's really what we've got. So once again, we want to thank LiveU for participating tonight. And I'd like to introduce George Klippel from LiveU, who will give you a demo and talk about their products. George?
Thank you, Lenny. All right, I don't have a script prepared like Lenny did. That was a little unfair. Hi, everybody. My name is George Klippel with LiveU, as Lenny mentioned. I'm Director of Channel Sales here at the company. Before I get started, I want to say thank you very much to AMV and everybody here for coming out, and AMV for hosting us. As Lenny mentioned, we do have 2 setup demo stations for you tonight that we'll be getting into doing hands-on presentations right after I'm finished going through some PowerPoint slides. On this side of the room, where Sebastian is over there, wave Sebastian if you will, is our full complete 4K production workflow. We're featuring our LU600 HEVC 4K product and our 4K server. It's actually connected up to this 4K camera that's down right in front, and it will show you the complete 4K end-to-end workflow if you're interested in that type of production. On this side of the room over here at the demonstration station that I'll be manning, we'll be showing our LiveU Solo with real-time solo graphics, which I'll be talking about shortly, plus our LU200 products. So those are more lower end, if you will, not full 4K, but H.264 products, and we'll be talking a little bit about that as I go through this session. The agenda that I want to cover tonight is give you a quick overview of LiveU, talk a little bit about at-home production, some of our new products. Lenny asked me specifically to cover some of the new things that we announced at NAB that are now shipping, and then end up with some Q&A, and then again end this session by doing live demos and answering any question that you might have doing hands-on. Plus, over on the right, we do have all the brochures on the products that we're featuring tonight, plus some giveaways and some swag, as we like to call it. Before I start, though, just out of curiosity, by a show of hands, how many people have either used LiveU before or are familiar with the product? Okay, for those of you watching at home, that's about maybe half the room. So for those of you who don't know who we are, let me give you a little history on who LiveU is. We were established in 2006, shipped our first products in 2008. So about 10 years have gone by since we shipped our first products. We have quite a few field units out there in the world, about 6,500 total. Over 3,000 end-user customers producing tons and tons of content, almost 200 terabytes of monthly live transmissions, streamed transmissions to air. We're headquartered right here in the U.S., right across the bridge in Hackensack, New Jersey. We have offices in Israel, around the world, in Romania, India, and we offer 24/7, 365-year support on all of our products as well. We're the industry leader in this space in video over IP and cellular bonding, and about 65% of all the live shots that you see on broadcast television today come from a LiveU field pack or a backpack that you'll be looking at later on. So that's all the stand-ups that you see on MSNBC or CNN or Fox or wherever. We offer a very broad and advanced portfolio of products, and you can see by this diagram behind me, we have the LU600, which is the top of the line product that we're showing here that does 4K and HEVC, which is essentially H.265. We have cloud servers, we have physical servers, we have an extender, we have rack-mounted units, but essentially a complete product portfolio of products that start below $1,000 and go all the way up to around $23,000, $24,000 and everything kind of in between. So we fit all the different niches of products and for every type of consumer out there, whether you're doing like YouTube type streaming and just going to the web, or whether you're a full online broadcaster like a major television network. And for those of you who are new to cellular bonding, that specific workflow, this is what it looks like. It's fairly straightforward. You have a field unit, a backpack like Sebastian's showing over there today. Connects to a standard camera, any type of camera that you have, SDI or HDMI, professional cameras, GoPros, you name it. And what we do is we use bonded cellular, which means we connect to AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, or T-Mobile modems. We also connect Wi-Fi and Ethernet. We bond all of those signals together, convert your video into IP packets, send it across the internet, and it comes out the other side and goes either to the web, to YouTube or Facebook or other destinations, or we can actually send it to a physical server where we can spit out the other end an SDI signal or an NDI signal if you're working with a TriCaster, etc. So today, I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the most popular things that's been happening in the last year for us, and spend a little bit of time talking about at-home production, or as Lenny reminded me to call it something else, AKA live remote productions, or what maybe some of you also know as REMIs, remote integration model productions, right? REMI, everybody knows that. So why do people use at-home production, right? They save money. It's more live productions created using the same staff, predictable mixing environments, lower transportation costs, less wear and tear on equipment, etc. Has anybody here worked in a REMI environment before, or on live, remote, or at-home type of productions? Anybody? A couple people? Yep. So who uses at-home productions? Typically news. This is a shot from the Kilauea volcano that has been erupting. This was a guy using an LU600 shooting back for the Today Show. So they're remote in Hawaii using an LU600, sending back the signal via IP back to 30 Rock here in New York. That's called REMI, right? That's a remote production. Also extreme productions like this here. This was done in Africa. Guys on a motorcycle with an LU600 on his backpack shooting extreme productions, sending it back to a production environment where they're doing the mixing and editing in real time about 15 miles away from where this race was happening. Sports is huge from REMI. This is the Honda Classic where they were actually shooting this video, and I'll show you a little bit of a clip in a minute that explains a little bit more of this. Concerts, again, where you can send out people with the backpacks, the LiveU packs, and send the signal back via IP to a main head-end destination and do the production. So I mentioned the Honda Classic just a minute ago. One of our customers down in Florida used the LiveU LU600, and I can't control the audio, so I hope you can. But this is an example of what they did. They had 4 LU600 backpacks, and they supplemented the Honda Classic, which is a major golf tournament, and did at-home production. So what they did was they took these 4 LU600s and partnered with the PGA Golf tournament for this event. Now, the PGA Golf doesn't have them, or doesn't allow them to do any broadcast production at all. But what they wanted to do was to get fan engagement, really engage with the fans and do something on their website, right? On the web to show fan engagement, get fan interaction, and really get out there and do something different besides always just showing hole-to-hole shot making. So what they did was they hired one of our customers, Thaler Media, out of Florida, who has 4 LU600s. They sent the camera people in just with the LU600s, the tripods and whatnot, and the camera people. They just went on site to the Honda Classic, and the person that did all the editing was on his TriCaster back at home in Florida. He never left his space, his home. Now, it doesn't have to be your home. That's not what at home is all about, right? It could be a beautiful facility like we have here at AMV. But that's what this is all about. That's what at home is. So from our perspective, when you talk about LiveU wireless at-home production, it's truly wireless and reliable streaming. You're not using LAN or high-speed connectivity. You don't need it on site, right? You can go live from anywhere reliably, regardless of the infrastructure that you have. You don't have to run cables for miles across the golf course or tie into cameras in a production location. We have the ability, when we look at it, it's a really major cost savings, and this is nothing against that big, beautiful satellite truck that you have to rent and you need out there, that AMV is showing tonight. But you don't need it for every event. There's no on-site production truck or location needs. You reduce the on-site personnel travel and equipment expenses. And you can see with LiveU, at-home production really drops the cost dramatically. And this is based on a typical 4-camera, 2 or 3 hour broadcast. We don't have numbers associated with how many people are in this, but it saves quite a bit of money. When you look at wireless at-home production even more, there's some additional advantages as well. You have automatic multicam synchronization, so all of the cameras can be set to the same delay. So every one of our cameras has sub-second delay capability now with our LiveU 600. You can go below 1 second delay, so they can all be synchronized that way. So our delay is even better than satellite. It's HD quality live video, so you can cover more events, produce more events, do more frequent live streams. And it's simplified logistics and planning. These are some of the customers that are using at home today. This is just a small snapshot of some of them that do it. We have a lot of the networks, a lot of the sports teams that do it as well, but I just threw something together for tonight. But one of the ones I wanted to point out that really kind of started this for us 3 years ago is NESN, the New England Sports Network, and the Boston Red Sox. They went down about 3 years ago and said there's got to be a better way and a more affordable way for us to do at-home production. And they were essentially sending down, set trucks and people and everything else to do their spring training every year, year in and year out, for years and years and years. Before at-home production, this is basically what they were doing. They were sending about 10 people down for spring training, plus 5 camera positions. They had an engineer for a sat truck. The sat truck rental was about $2,500 to $3,500 per day. They spent about $500 to $1,000 for a 2 or 3 hour broadcast, and that's for one game, right? And that didn't include fax out time or melts. That was additional cost. And then they had lodging and meals for all those people, right? Very expensive proposition for them. After they implemented the at-home production workflow, what they did was they ended up with 5 cameras, going down with 5 cameras with 5 LiveU 500 packs and extenders. Extenders, that little device we have over there, it comes in a tripod. And they sent 1 producer down there. And that ended up saving them about 75% cost reduction on what they did with at-home production. So it went from savings on travel, savings on satellite time and data, and on-site truck rentals. So it's a tremendous amount of savings when you look at the on-site production model, at-home production model versus how you do it the old way. So that's a little bit about at-home production. Wanted to talk a little bit about that tonight, introduce that to you a little bit if you weren't familiar with it. And now I'll move on to new announcements. So the first new announcement that I'll bring up is the LiveU 600 with HEVC, and that's what we're showing over there tonight in Sebastian's station. With that, in addition, we're showing the 4K version. This is our leading field bounding unit in the industry. It has 6 to 8 modems that are inside the device. It can stream up to 20 megabits per second. It does store and forward. We also do data bridge bonding and have many other things that we can support with the unit. 4 channels of audio, supports closed captioning. It has a 4-hour internal battery, and it does H.265 and H.264. So it streams in H.265 and actually will record for you in H.264 because no nonlinear editing system can edit in H.265 today. So if you're streaming something out at H.265, it'll save it to you as a MP4 or H.264 file so you can cut it in Avid or Adobe or Final Cut. We also introduced something called global roaming or dual SIM modems, and this is something that a lot of the networks were asking for, but now everybody's really enjoying the fact that we did it on the production side as well. And this is for people who travel outside of the United States. These units can come with dual SIM modems, which basically have an A and B slot. The A slot will allow you to have SIM cards that are domestic modems, so they work in the United States. The B slot will be supplied with AT&T roaming SIMs. So they are basically dormant when you're in the United States and they don't do anything, they don't cost you anything. But let's say you need to travel to Europe or Canada or someplace. All you have to do then is call LiveU up and say, I need to activate my roaming SIMs, and we activate them right over the phone for you. So when you land in that foreign area or Europe or wherever, those SIMs are activated and you can start streaming immediately off of the plane. So for news organizations, especially with breaking news, those are phenomenal to have. Or for other groups that travel around to different worldwide locations, it's great to have. And currently we support 150 different countries with these dual SIM modems. We also offered a new feature called Standalone Databridge. A lot of companies have been asking us, hey, you've got all these modems that are in there, and what if I'm not streaming and maybe I want to VPN to my network, or maybe I want to send a file that I've been editing on my laptop back to my network, but I don't have internet connection. Well, we have what's called a Standalone Databridge that can do up to 100 megabits per second. It allows you to have two types of modes of connectivity. One is called multipath, great for normal internet usage, where essentially you're taking the modems inside of the unit and making it into a Uber hotspot. So you could check email, surf the web, use all those modems combined and bonded together to do those types of functions. Or you could use it in gateway mode, which is great for uploading large files, again, VPNing into your network, maybe sending a completed package or an edited file or something that you've done on an Avid or Adobe, or maybe just sending graphics back and forth between your company and where you are in the field or location. Also, we have something that a lot of people have been asking for quite a while. It's called video return. We have the ability to do 2 to 4 streams from a dedicated server. It's on the LiveU 600 unit that Sebastian's showing there today. Essentially, what it is video return gives you the ability to see program feedback from the head end or to even see teleprompter. And so finally, you're able to, on the unit itself, it's got a 5-inch screen that is there on the unit physically itself, which is kind of small, but we have a micro HDMI out of the unit at the top where you can take that output to a larger screen like this or this if you're in the field. So if your talent's there and you want to show them program, or if you want to send teleprompter down the line, you can do that as well. So that's called video return. It has 900 milliseconds delay, and it's running off of a separate server than the streaming server that you use for your actual video, and that's for reliability purposes. So that's called video return, and something that everybody's really excited about. And then just a couple more slides and I'll be finished up. The LiveU Matrix is our new real-time IP contribution and distribution solution and platform. It basically allows you as an entity to preview all available feeds on your network, or if you have a collaboration or a group of stations, if you will, or if you're a company with multiple locations, you can actually search for files. You could look at these files and know which files are available to you to share. So it's really a sharing tool, real-time collaboration between news desks, engineers, producers, and you even have features like chatting, the ability to search with filtering, see feeds and select which ones you want to receive locally, or distribute a feed to an entire network and say, hey, it's available for everyone to use, restrict who can get access to it, et cetera. But essentially it's a live sharing application to take and say, hey, I've got something here in New York, we just shot some breaking news and I want to give it to all my affiliates or all of my end users and share it very easily and seamlessly. And as I mentioned, there's a chat feature, top-line messaging. You can actually set audio alerts for curators at a news desk. So very, very friendly for news organizations, but also functional for companies that have multiple locations. And one of my last 2 slides, we introduced a 4K SDI video card. We added, as you know, with Sebastian's station, it's a 4K HDMI. We're adding now 4K SDI. This is more for the sports market, and if you're doing 360 VR stuff and those types of applications, supports 12G SDI, as well as 4x3G SDI interfaces. And that's actually out next month. You'll be able to get that card for your LiveU 600 if you want. And the receiver, the LiveU 4000 server, it's over there tonight. This is the one that we're showing here. That's a single 12G SDI output, 1 rack unit mountable server. It supports audio IFB and compatible with the LU600 that Sebastian's showing. I did say almost my last slide. I lied. Sorry about that. Solo graphics, that's the last thing I will talk about, and that's what I'm showing over on the right-hand station. This is one of the first times that you'll be able to do cloud graphics in real time from a platform. Solo Cloud Graphics is basically an online service that can overlay animated text, logos, bugs, things like that, lower thirds, into your stream. You can import things like pre-built graphics like JPEGs, PNG files, or GIFs. It's a full-feature graphic app that you can build rundowns for and things of that nature, and I'll show you if you'd like to take a look at it. What it's not is it's not a playout server. It's not a full TriCaster. It doesn't replace a ROS or a Chiron, and it's not a switcher. But it's a really cool device that if you're using a Solo or something that's just going to the web, to Facebook Live or YouTube or whatever, allows you to layer in some graphic overlays and put a title, put in the AMV logo if you want, or what have you. So it's got a nice graphical interface. It allows you to control destinations and save templates and things like that. So I'll show you that over here on the left side, your left side, my right side, and Sebastian will show you the 4K workflow over there on the right side. So that's everything I had. I know it's a little bit like drinking water from a fire hose, but if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them now, or I can wait and you can ask me at the tables. Does anybody have anything for me? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
The unit itself can only do one camera stream at a time. You need 4 of these to do the 4-camera shoot?
Yeah, so the question was, the unit itself, does it work with one camera at a time, or can it work with multiple cameras? So yeah, so it's a one-to-one relationship. So one camera with one unit. So one camera has one input, and you put it with one camera.
Unless you have the switcher in front of it.
That's right, yeah. So that's another good point. So some people will use us as a input into a environment, and other people will use us on a multicam shoot as an output, like transport. So they'll have a multicam shoot going into, say, a TriCaster or a Blackmagic or a ROS, and then they'll take us and use us as transport out to a destination. Saw somebody else? Yes? Oh, okay, we have a mic. There we go. Hang on one second.
Somebody asked, typical maximum throughput that you can more or less guarantee? I know that's not a word that's necessarily the right word, but what do you tell somebody who asks, what's the maximum throughput and what's the type of latency that you're comfortable communicating you can do for the customer?
Yeah, so from a throughput perspective, it depends on the unit. So on the units like the LU200, we're very comfortable with, and we deliver it, and it's set actually at 5.5 megabits per second. The LU600 H.264 is at 7.2, and the LU600 with HEVC is at 4.2 megabits per second. And from a latency standpoint, 1 second delay on the LU200 and 0.8 on the LU600, 0.8 sub-second delay.
Just one other quick one.
Yeah, and that'll eventually go to 0.5, actually, even get better on the LU600 in the next release of software.
So here's another softball. If somebody says, what's 5G going to do for you and the customer, how do you answer that question?
Well, 5G is just going to be better for us and everybody, for the customer from a speed standpoint and a pure streaming standpoint. It's just going to make everything much better for us, from the ability to go much faster as far as streaming and streaming at better bandwidth rates. And, right now I haven't seen it yet, haven't tested it yet, but it's just going to be a much better experience for all of us and save us money, and we'll be able to do much higher bandwidth at a lesser costs. That's at least what I'm told. So, yeah, absolutely. So, another question? Over here.
For the graphics, the portion you using that, and excuse me, I'm near the speaker. Wanted to know if, like, for that graphic box, you have to have that additional on top of the LU600, right? That's what you said. Having those two boxes. having like the transmitter and the graphics? I'm just not sure what you.
Yeah, so the graphics is for the solo unit currently today. And in the future, we'll have a live graphic application in the cloud for the higher end units like the LU 600 and the LU 200. But today, it's real-time graphics in the cloud for the LiveU Solo currently. Okay. Anyone else? Any other questions? Nothing? Okay, great. Well, listen, I want to thank everybody for coming. I really appreciate you taking the time, and please join us at one of the side tables for demos or anything else, and we'll be here until 8 o'clock. So thank you very much again.